Hello and welcome. Today we are going over the Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car, and I'm going to tell you why this is the fastest Mazda Atenza you can have in Gran Turismo 7. Now, when you first think of the Mazda Atenza and fast, you don't really put those two together. However, with this vehicle right here, it can produce a lot of power, and that's with the help of an engine swap. So before we actually get into the engine swap, we are gonna go over the standard performance of this Group 3 road car. So this vehicle has a front engine rear wheel drive setup with an engine that produces 483 brake horsepower and comes in at a weight of 1450 kgs. So when you actually get behind the wheel of it, there's something that might actually catch you off guard, and that is how tail happy this vehicle actually is. That's what caught me off guard, because coming around the first corner, I spun out. Straight up, I just got on the accelerator and the rear end overtook me. So I knew when it comes to cornering in the Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car bone stock, you need to be careful because the rear end is a bit touchy and it can overtake you. So coming down the straightaway around Kyoto Driving Park, you aren't actually traveling that higher speed. You are going to be clocking just over 220 kilometers per hour before you need to go into the first corner. Then when you slam on the brakes, you are actually going to be greeted with a bit of understeer, and as soon as you try to leave it by applying some power, that rear end is going to kick out once again. And now when it comes to carrying speed through corners, it is a bit tricky, because either you're fighting understeer or you're fighting oversteer. So it really is just depending on how fast you take the corners, and it's so just, you need to be on it when driving this vehicle. You cannot be laid back, chilled, no stress, because this car will bite back. Now the Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car is honestly it's a relatively decent performing vehicle. I'm not gonna say it's the best thing out there. I'm not gonna say it's terrible. It has a bit of spice, so you are not gonna complain about being bored or just falling asleep at the wheel because there's no excitement. No, the Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car will give you all of the excitement you need, and I think it gives you a bit too much excitement. It's overcompensating trying to be fun. So the rear end does step out a lot, but overall, when it comes to setting lap times, you can set decently fast lap times if you are able to keep the vehicle in bay. The fastest lap time I was able to set was a 1 minute 49.5, which, I mean, look, it's not a relatively fast lap time, but for a bone stock vehicle, I mean, it's relatively decent. So now if we take the standard vehicle and we upgrade the performance, so if we head on over to the tuning shop, well, we can actually add a lot more parts in our thoughts, because when it comes to the Group 3 cars, well, you can really only slap on a turbocharger most of the time, or a supercharger. There isn't actual performance upgrades you can do to it. However, with the Group 3 race car, you can actually add a few parts here and there, which I actually appreciated. And after spending a bit of money, you're going to be left with 708 brake horsepower and 1450 kgs. Yes, sadly, the Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car does not allow weight reduction, and I think this is going to be the biggest issue with this vehicle. So now, if we head on over to GT Auto, you're going to see a lack of customization, with your only visual upgrade being a custom rear wing option. Well, you can also remove the small boot spoiler, so you can add a massive rear wing and just give it the overall Group 3 race car look. So that's what I like, and to be honest with you, the Group 3 road car is just so you can use a Group 3, I say that with quotation marks, you can use a Group 3 car in events that require road car only use. So now when it comes to handling, with the vehicle being fully upgraded, that slippage is gone. With us now having 400 downforce on the rear, the vehicle is absolutely planted. However, when it comes to us heading down the straightaway, we see that we only gain 20 kilometers per hour. We aren't even doing 250 yet. But where it makes up massively is the corners. You're able to push it a lot harder. You don't feel the understeer as much. There's no oversteer, and you can feel that, hey, this is a race car. Don't get fooled by the road car. It is a race car that's just street legal. It's like CJ Hunt's M4. This car has overall so much better performance than standard, and you're gonna find that around Kyoto Driving Park you're gonna be setting lap times around the 1 minute 36 second mark, which is a lot faster than standard. So with it being almost 10 seconds faster, it is well worth it upgrading. However, the upgrade to really make it the fastest Atenza ever has to be the R26B engine swap. No, not an RB26. This is a 4-rotor out of the Mazda 787B. Yes, the Group 1 racer. So now we have Group 1 performance with Group 3 styling in a road car. In my eyes, it doesn't really get better than this. So if you don't have this engine swap, well, it's gonna cost you 1,750,000 credits. So it is a very pricey engine, but it is a very good engine. Now when you head on over to the tuning shop to add a high RPM turbocharger, well, you're gonna be left with a performance figure of 989 brake horsepower. Now when engine swaps just came out in Gran Turismo 7, this engine swap was one of the best. I mean, even now it's still one of the best because of its fuel efficiency. Now when it actually comes to using this vehicle in money grinding events, you can use it with the Group 1 engine being so fuel efficient. It acts as a great way for you to just make or do those events with absolute ease. And considering the fact that with the vehicle having max downforce on racing softs, fully upgraded, it only comes in at a performance points of 725 performance points. I kinda didn't expect that, honestly. It feels a bit too low performance points wise, but honestly when you actually get behind the wheel of it, well, you're gonna notice why the performance points are low. I don't know what it is, but the engine swap actually feels a bit slow. Now around the WTC 700, I was setting lap times around the 3 minute 50 seconds on the initial lap around Le Mans, but that's with the vehicle being on fuel map level 1, and it's actually kind of thirsty because on fuel map level 1 you are going to be able to do 2 laps before you need to refuel. Now if you use the same engine in the Mazda RX-7, well, you're able to actually push that to 3 laps. So I think that's actually down to the fact of the RX-7 is a lot lighter, which means it isn't as gas guzzling as the Mazda Atenza. But that's just my theory as to why the Atenza is so more, how do I say, is why it's so less efficient than the Mazda RX-7. So when it comes to if you have one R26B engine swap, what car do you put it in? The Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car is not the way to go. However, from update 1.40, this really is the only engine swap that has money grinding potential. But I mean, look, if we talk about money grinding, we have the Daytona, but we're talking about real money grinding like WTC 700, 800, all those events. This is really the only vehicle that you can see it has replayability when it comes to actually gaining you some credits. Now around Kyoto Driving Park, the Mazda Atenza is, how do I say, it's not actually that much faster compared to standard. Standard was setting 1 minute 36.9 second laps, and with the 787B engine in it, it does 1 minute 32 dead. Well, you can actually say 1 minute 33 seconds around the circuit. So look, it's a couple of seconds faster, but for spending 2 million credits, honestly, I don't think it's worth it. But considering the fact that it does have ways of earning you back the money spent on it, I have to give it a thumbs up. It's a fantastic vehicle, it is fun, and overall it's a race car that you can use in road car events. So If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, don't forget leave a like and subscribe for more Gran Turismo content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.